All right. Shalom. First and foremost, I want to start off by giving all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rachakodash. Double honors to the apostles, the bishops, and elders of Great Millstone who rule well, and also honor and salutations to those of you who are of the hopeful elect and are out there teaching the word of sincerity and truth. So I wanted to talk a little bit about the brother who's become beloved. His channel name is Akyadai. Um, um, he's one of the affiliate brothers of Great Millstone, who is here in the Boston area. Uh, he had a run-in with the former members of GMS Boston, and they got into quite a bit. Um, of course, it was out of order and all over the place, but um, the brother handled himself well. He uh, he dealt as 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 good as you can deal when you're in the thick of something, right? And the other party is isn't giving you an opportunity to speak your piece, and this is why more often than not, when the other side is rowdy, you kind of bid them a farewell because it's not going to be a fruitful conversation. But when you're in these settings, in these forums, you have the ability to really sit down and comb through the topic the way you want to. So if it's rowdy like that, I would say just send them on their way. But in any case, there was a mouthful said. So I wanted to touch on something that I did hear when I clicked on it. And we'll likely get into all of what was said, but one thing at a time. That way, it can be as edifying as possible, and each topic can be hit, and you don't have to be bouncing all over the place. So I want to start by saying this, that I've always had this philosophy about scoffers, and that philosophy is, um, matter of fact, let's do this. Let's do this. Let's go over here. Let's go over here to Acts 5 and 48. 38. Yeah, 5 and 38. Salakia. Start at 37 here. Excuse me. This is Acts 5 and 37. It says, after this man rose up, Judas of Galilee, in the days of the taxing, and drew away much people after him. Let me get jump up a little bit more. Yeah. For 5 and 33. This Acts 5 and 33. When they heard that, they were cut to the heart and took counsel to slay them. Then stood there up one in the council, a Pharisee named Gamaliel, a doctor of the law, had in reputation among all the people, and commanded to put the apostles forth a little space. Salakia. And said unto them, ye men of Israel, take heed to yourselves what ye intend to do as touching these men. For before these days rose up Theudas, boasting himself to be somebody, right? To whom a number of men, about 400, joined themselves, who was slain, and all as many as obeyed him were scattered and brought to naught. After this man rose up Judas of Galilee in the days of the taxing, and drew away much people after himself. I'm sorry, drew away much people after him. He also perished, and all, even as many as obeyed him, were dispersed. And now I say unto you, refrain from these men, and let them alone. For if this counsel or this work be of men, it will come to naught. But if it be of the Most High, ye cannot overthrow it. Least happily ye be found to fight against the Most High, right? And so I brought that scripture out because what you learn over time, right, is that scoffers, what they do is they have a tendency to latch on to um, let's say, either it could be the group that they come from, it could be one particular argument, right? But they tend to be fed by their whoever they're scoffing against, right? And I liken it to the comparison, a parable of my own, the comparison between the architect and the demolition man, right? With the demolition man, right? Their job can only exist, right, if someone else first builds something, right? Well, just like the scriptures say, take heed on who's what is that? How does that go? Something like that. Yep. First Corinthians 3. And let's see. First Corinthians 3 and 10. Bear with me for a second. First Corinthians 3. First Corinthians 3 and 10. Yep. This is First Corinthians 3 and 9. It says, "For we are laborers together." Let me share this one, Salakia. It says, "For we are laborers together with the Most High. Ye are the Most High's husbandry. Ye are the Most High's building. According to the grace of the Most High, which is given unto me as a wise master builder, right? I have laid the foundation, and another buildeth thereon. But let every man take heed how he buildeth thereupon," right? And so you have this comparison, right? You have the architect or the master builder, and you have the demolition man. Again, the demolition man can only have a job, or only has a job, if somebody else first built something. Then they can have the job where they're knocking the building down, right? When you ever see, like, that matter of fact, downtown in Boston, there's a right where we go into the corner mall for the food court to gather before we go out to camp. There was a building there on Tremont Street, but now it's been demolished, right? So you can only demolish something that has been built first, right? But the master builder or the architect always has a job, right? Because they're creating something, they are building something, and they'll always have a job. And so when I say the scoffer always latches on to something, the scoffer can only be the demolition man. They can't be the builder. They can't be the master builder that continues to grow the building, continues to put an east wing or west wing or another floor added onto it. That's the idea, right? When you get taught the truth, when you get taught the truth should be grown, right? Not demolished, right? I wanted to look up this word master builder. Master builder. Oh, wow, wow. Architecton, right? Which is an architect, right? Which I've never looked this word up. So it's all in the spirit. So it says a master builder, an architect, right? The superintendent and the erection of buildings, right? And so if we're fellow laborers in the building, right, we're supposed to add on to the building, not destroy it, right? But this is what scoffers do. Scoffers, they'll try to destroy the building, and they can only exist in the destruction of something, right? They can't build something of their own, right? Um, and that's the case here. right? And so I wanted to touch on something that was said in regards to um, the spirit of the law and the letter of the law, right? Because I think this is important because there's this idea that somehow the law is now not important, or the law is now uh, n- is not, let's say, meant to be kept, right? The Lord Yahweh Shai did not come to destroy the law, right? Matter of fact, let me go to that. I have it pulled up in another place, but I'm holding where I wanna. I think it's what 5. Let's go to. Uh, yeah, this is Matthew 5:17. It says, "Think not that I am come to destroy the law or the prophets. I am not come to destroy. I am not come to destroy, but to fulfill." Right. So the Lord Yahweh Shai is coming, and the Lord Yahweh Shai's death was not an end to the law. Right. It was a fulfillment. He was showing us, right, in his flesh, how that the law can be kept. Matter of fact, let me go here. Um uh I think it's I think that's how it goes. Oh shit. Oh, okay, so pulled up. Yep. This is Hebrews. Let's click on it because I want to go to the NLT after this. This is Hebrews 4:15. It says, let me see something. Okay. It says, "For we have not an high priest which cannot be touched with the feeling of our infirmities, but was in all points tempted like as we are, yet without sin." Right? Um, that's not what I was looking for. Oh, yes, it is. Yes, it is. Um, so again, the Lord Yahweh Shai was here to show us how to be in this flesh and still be righteous, how to be in this flesh and still maintain and keep the law. He was perfect, right? The Lord Yahweh Shai was perfect when he was here on this earth, right? And so that's what he came to do, not to destroy the law, but to show us how to behave within the law, right? Um, was that? Oh yes, I wanted to go in NLT. That's what kind of threw me off. I was thinking about NLT. Hebrews 4:15 in the NLT, it says, "The high priest of ours understands our weaknesses, for he faced all of the same testings we do, yet he did not sin. So let us come boldly to the throne of our gracious power. There we will receive his mercy, and we will find grace to help us when we need it most." Right. So the Lord Yahweh Shai didn't come to destroy the law, right? He came to fulfill it, right? And he says something else in here that I want to touch too. Let's see. Oh, that's still in the NLT. Let me just go to the KJV first. It says, "For verily I say unto you, till heaven and earth pass, one jot or one tittle shall in no wise pass from the law till all be fulfilled. Whosoever therefore shall break one of these least commandments and shall teach men so, he shall be called the least in the kingdom of heaven. But whosoever shall do and teach them, the same shall be called great in the kingdom of heaven." So the Lord didn't teach us to break the law because he wasn't coming here for us to break the law. The law is going to stand forever, right? The proof of that, um, let's go to, I'll keep this one open. Let's go to, what was it? That's it. Hebrews 8, and I think it's like 8 and 9. Yep, 8 and 7. Yep, yep. Let's see. Boom. I'm going to start at 7. The point is down at 10, but I'm going to start at 7 here. It's Hebrews 8 and 7. It says, "For if that first covenant had been faultless, then should no place have been sought for the second. For finding fault with them, he saith, Behold, the days come, saith the Lord, when I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel and with the house of Judah, not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers in the day when I took them by the hand to lead them out of the land of Egypt, because they continued not in my covenant, and I regarded them not, saith the Lord." And here's the point. It says, "For this is the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel after those days, saith the Lord. I will put my laws into their mind and write them in their hearts, and I will be to them a power, and they shall be to me a people." And really, when you go up to let me see, verse 6 here, it says this, that let's read it. It says, "But now hath he obtained a more excellent ministry, by how much also he is the mediator of a better covenant, which was established on better promises." And this is the better promise, right? That instead of the law being written on tablets, they're going to be written on our hearts, and we won't break those laws anymore. But it's still, let's say, predicated on the laws, statutes, and commandments, and how they're being kept, right? Because we were put into this captivity because we broke the law. Now the Lord is saying, "Look, you're not gonna not only are you not gonna break the law, but you are gonna be an embodiment of it. I'm gonna write it on your hearts, and you're gonna be the monument for all the world to see, right? And show how to follow the laws, statutes, and commandments of the Heavenly Father, right? So so the law is not gone, right? The Lord Yahweh Shai didn't come here and die so that the law can be deteriorated or destroyed. He came to fulfill it, right? So we are still to keep the law. Now, we know and understand that we are not justified in the keeping of the law, right? We're not going to be saved and delivered, or our righteousness is not going to be determined by how well we keep the law, right? Righteousness comes from justification, right? We're being justified by Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai by believing on him, right? So we understand that we're not going to be saved or delivered by any keeping of the law. We understand that, right? And that is not anything that we've ever taught. We've never taught that you can be justified and saved by the law, right? As a matter of fact, what is that? Galatians. Let's go to that. I think it's Galatians. Let me see. Do it like this. Yeah, I was gonna go to forum one. Glad I did it like that instead. This is Galatians 3 and 1. It says, "O foolish Galatians, who hath bewitched you, that ye should not obey the truth, before whose eyes Yahweh Shai HaMashiach hath been evidently set forth, crucified among you? This only would I learn of you. Receive ye the Spirit by the works of the law, or by the hearing of faith? Are ye so foolish, having begun in the Spirit, are ye now made perfect by the flesh? Have ye suffered so many things in vain, if it be yet in vain?" Right? So we understand and know that we're not going to be justified by the law, and that's not something that we're saying, right? But you do have to keep the law, right? You have to keep the law. It's like to say I can't even come up with an analogy. Maybe it'll come to me, but we're the here's what I want to say. Um, and I say this all the time when it comes to the matters of the law. What about the Heavenly Father, right? What about Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, who gave us the laws? Do you think that he made a mistake? Do you think that he thinks he made a mistake when he put those laws together? When he put those rules and regulations together, when he decided what was going to be good and what was going to be bad, when he decided what was going to be righteous and what was going to be wicked, before this world was established, before ever there was an ocean, before ever there was a breath in any human being, he decided these things, right? Do you think that he made a mistake in that? So what about what the Lord said? Right? He's the one that put these laws here, and he obviously cares about them being kept. That's why we're in this captivity. So we have to keep the law. How is more of what we did to get us in this captivity going to free us from the captivity? It doesn't make much sense. Um, but what I wanted to speak to, and this is kind of leading into it, is what the spirit of the law is and the letter of the law. Now, I haven't been able to find where I got this from, right? But I can't remember if it was something I read or if it was something that somebody said to me. Um, but they were talking about the spirit of the law and the letter of the law, and they weren't reading the scriptures. They said it in a way that made it click to me, right? And this is what a lot of people miss, right? You have the letter of the law, right, which is means what? The letter of the law means what is the technical form of this rule, right? You have the expectation that's set. You have the what happens if you meet the expectation, what happens if you violate the expectation, right? Which is ultimately the judgment of that expectation being broken, right? That's the letter of the law, right? But the spirit of the law is different. It doesn't mean that it changed, that the law changed, or that it is lessened, right? But it means that there was an intent to the law, right? What is the intent of that law, right? And this is why the scriptures say, which I'll get to in a second, but there's an intent to the law, right? Not just you keeping it as a technicality, because that's what our people was doing. They would break the law, right? And technically, if I have a lamb, if I have a bullock, if I have a turtle dove, technically, if I sacrifice that thing, I can be forgiven for the sin that I committed or the breaking of the law that I committed, right? Technically, right, that would justify me of breaking the law. So you have whatever law it is, right? There were always different sacrifices for said breaking of law, right? Technically, if I'm sacrifice this animal over here, I'm good. And so our people, what they were doing was they were sinning and then going to sacrifice. Then they would sin over there and sacrifice. Matter of fact, let's talk about that a little bit. This is Isaiah 1. I'll start at 1. Isaiah 1 and 1. It says, the vision of Isaiah, the son of Amos, which he saw concerning Judah and Jerusalem in the days of Uzziah, Jotham, Ahaz, and Hezekiah, kings of Judah. Hear, O heavens, and give ear, O earth, for the Lord hath spoken. I have nourished and brought up children, and they have rebelled against me. The ox knoweth his owner, and the ass his master's crib, but Israel doth not know, my people doth not consider. Ah, sinful nation, a people laden with iniquity, a seed of evildoers, children that are corrupters, they have forsaken the Lord, they have provoked the Holy One of Israel, unto anger, they are gone away backward. Why should you be stricken anymore? You will revolt more and more. The whole head is sick, the whole heart faint. Right? From the sole of the foot even unto the head, there is no soundness in it, but wounds and bruises and putrefying sores. They have not been closed, neither bound up, neither mollified with ointment. Right? Let me see, because I want to get to the point. Here it is. Boom. Isaiah 1 and 10, it says, hear the word of the Lord, ye rulers of Sodom. Give ear unto the law of our power, ye people of Gomorrah. To what purpose is the multitude of your sacrifices unto me, saith the Lord? I am full of the burnt offerings of rams and of the fat of fed beasts, and I delight not in the blood of bullocks or of lambs or of goats. When ye come to appear before me, who hath required this at your hand to tread my courts? Bring no more vain oblations. Incense is an abomination unto me. The new moons and Sabbaths, the calling of assemblies, I cannot away with. It is iniquity, even the solemn meeting. Right. So what is he saying to them? Right. These he says vain oblations. Let me see if I can find that here. Vein oblations. Let's look that up. Vein oblations, and then I'll go to it in the. Let's go to vein first. Right. Emptiness, vanity, falsehood, emptiness, nothingness. Right. Right. So an empty, and here's oblation here. Gift, tribute, offering, present, oblation, sacrifice, meat offering. Right. Offering to God. Right. So these vain or these empty gifts to the Heavenly Father. You're given the gift, and technically you're doing the right thing, but you didn't keep the spirit of the law. And this is what the brother Akidai said. That's the spirit of the law, right? And some people don't understand it. And this is the reason why they get confused by it, because they don't understand the point. They don't understand the point. The Lord didn't come to break the law. The Lord didn't come to end the law. We still have to keep the law. It did not change. It did not falter. It's the same. Even the Lord Yahweh's death, right? You think about it this way. Even the Lord Yahweh's death itself was under the law, right? Because he was what? A perfect sacrifice for sin, right? They didn't break his legs, just like we do with the Passover lamb, right? His blood was shed. Um, for the remission of sins, just like a animal would be in ancient times, right? So even his death is under the law, right? So that was not removed, right? And again, the point, or let's say the proof that it hasn't been removed, is that when the Heavenly Father finally delivers us and gives us new bodies and sets us up in our stead, the laws are going to be written in our inward parts, right? The same way they were etched on tablets of stone, they're going to be etched in our hearts and our minds, right? So I wanted to go to this one thing that I pulled up here, and here's the thing: when you Google these days, they an AI answer pops up, but I like the answer, right? So I want just a disclaimer: we don't necessarily go by what these AI generated comments are, but some of them are good, right? This is why I don't use it that often. Sometimes what I use it for mostly is when I'm at work and I'm trying to type an email. I'll uh I'll type my email and then I'll put it in what is that the Chat GPT there, and just to check it for grammar and things like that, and it kind of reformulates what you're trying to say. So that's what I use it for mostly. But when you use it for scripture, sometimes there's certain things that it goes off on. So I just really don't use it so much. But it's pertinent in some cases, right? So I want to read this first because when I read this, it gave me some scriptures that I wanted to look up. So let me check something real quick before I continue. Okay, let's go to back over here. It says the letter of the law refers to the literal wording and exact meaning of the law, of a law, excuse me, while the spirit of the law encompasses the intended purpose and underlying principles behind it, right? Here's a more detailed breakdown. It says the letter of the law definition. The letter of the law is the precise technical and literal interpretation of a law, focusing on the words as they are written, right? Here's focus. It says it emphasizes strict adherence to the rules and regulations without considering the context, intent, or potential consequences, right? It says a law stating no running in the hallways, and I like this example, right? Because it's made me think of scriptures, right? Matter of fact, let me just check something real quick. Oh, that's that one. Not that one. Not that one. Damn, did I lose it? Did I lose it? I must have. Let me just try to find this while I'm thinking of it. Let's see. Bear with me for a second. I just want to find this. Oh, yeah, yeah. Where is it? Oh, this is the first one. Okay. I skipped right over it. So like it. So let's go back to this. This is it says a law stating no running in the hallways would be followed literally even if someone was running to reach a child in danger, right? So the literal law, right, would be, let's say if this was a law or a rule punishable by death, and somebody's running to chase a child because a child is in danger, they would be killed because they were running in the hallway, right? When you got to ask yourself, what is the intent of the rule? The intent of the rule is to keep people safe and keep things orderly, right? And it goes into that when you get to the spirit of the law. So it says the spirit of the law refers to the underlying purpose, the intention, and broader principles that lawmakers intended when creating the law. Focus. It emphasizes fairness, justice, and the overall goals of the law, allowing for flexibility and consideration of specific circumstances, right? Why is that important? Because when you have things like matter of fact, let's go to it. Let's go to it. Let me find this. I haven't read this in a long time, but we're gonna pull it up right now. hmm Yep. Let me jump up a couple of verses. Yep. 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 So let's go here. Let's go here. I'm gonna just jump right to the point here. Let's see. This is Deuteronomy 19 and 16. It says, if a false witness rise up against any man to testify against him that which is wrong, then both the men between whom the controversy is shall stand before the Lord, before the priests and the judges, which shall be in those days. And the judges shall make diligent inquisition, and behold, if the witness be a false witness and have testified falsely against his brother, then shall ye do unto him as he had thought to have done unto his brother. So shalt thou put the evil away from among you, right? And those which remain shall hear and fear, and shall henceforth commit no more any such evil among you. And thine eye shall not pity, but life shall go for life, eye for eye, tooth for tooth, hand for hand, foot for foot. Now, this is this. So there are laws that say if somebody does something to, let's say, your wife, if your wife was pregnant and I forget how the law goes. It's going to take me too long to find it, so forgive me. But I think it's something along the lines of if your wife is pregnant, she died, and you have seed, and you can return that wrongdoing to your wife onto that whoever committed that onto his family, right? But here in this law, you hear some of what it means, the underlying purpose of the law, right? Which is what? That you treat one another properly. That's the reason for these kinds of laws. So when we get to now the New Testament and it says turn the other cheek, it's because it's getting to the intent of the law. Salakia. One second. All right. Um, so let's keep going, right? Let's go back here. So it says, example in the no running in the hallways example, the spirit of the law might be to prevent accidents and disruptions. Therefore, allowing someone to run to help a child would be considered following the spirit of the law, even if it technically violates the letter, right? And so those things and understanding those things are important, right? Because matter of fact, Let's go here. Um, what happened? What happened there? There it goes. Bro, see, back in Galatians again. Right. So let's go to right to 24 here. This is Galatians 3 and 24. It says, "Wherefore the law was our schoolmaster to bring us unto Hamashiach, that we might be justified by faith. But after that faith has come, we are no longer under a schoolmaster," right? So you can think of this in this way, right? To give you an understanding, more of an understanding. So let's say it this way: when I was a kid and I was learning how to play basketball, right? You might have had cones set up on the court. If you're when my dad was trying to teach me the principles of a crossover dribble, he would put he would put a cone on one side, and so I knew when our foot got there to cross the ball over to the other side, right? And there's these, let's say, for lack of a better term, or to make the point, you got these cones that are set up on the court, right? You might have a drill. You go to one cone, you shoot, or you might have a cone set up to learn how to handle the ball. They you might have there. I remember there was this. They called it a shooting buddy, and it was like a contraption that went on your arm so that you wouldn't overbend your arm, or you couldn't shoot with the here. You had to bring it up to a certain height before you shot the ball, right? All those things are schoolmasters to teach you for when you get into the game, right? When you're in the game, you're not going to have the cone set up on the floor, right? You're not going to have the shooting buddy on your arm, right? But it's to prepare you for the game, right? And that's what that law was, a schoolmaster, the cones. But you don't forget the cones, right? The cones were there to teach you the tenets of the game, right? It had an intent behind it. It had a purpose, which was, okay, when you get to this spot, shoot the ball there, right? When you get to that spot over there, shoot the ball there, or pass the ball, or when somebody's telling you to spread your fingers, you ain't sitting there making sure all your fingers are spread when you're handling the ball, when you're shooting the ball. They're a schoolmaster to get you prepared for the game, right? Because there's an underlying intent to those tools, right? And so that's what people don't understand, right? So let's go to let's see what this was. I'll go to that one in just a second. Ah, I won't go there. You know where I should go first? I should go here first. Yep. Let's see. Yep. Let's go here. Let's go here first. So I think Matthew 5 is interesting. Matthew's the fifth chapter. I think they call this the Sermon on the Mount. Yeah, the Sermon on the Mount, right? And why it's so interesting. Matter of fact, yeah, let's talk about it. Let's talk about why it's so interesting, right? It says, it says, verse 20 here. Let's go to 20. This is Matthew 5 and 20. Let me make sure I'm sharing this. Okay. This is Matthew 5 and 20. It says this: "For I say unto you, that except your righteousness shall exceed the righteousness of the scribes and Pharisees, you shall in no case enter into the kingdom of heaven." Right. And so what the Lord was telling them is this, right? yeah, the law says these things, right? But I say these things up here. And so the standard of the law was raised to a point where it's like, damn, how am I gonna how can I be justified or how can I be perfected by the law when the expectation is being risen? And that's what the Lord Yahushua was here for, right? Let's go here. Verse 21, it says, Ye have heard that it was said by them of old time, Thou shalt not kill, and whosoever shall kill shall be in danger of the judgment. But I say unto you that whoever is angry, so not even not just killing, but just getting angry is wrong, right? With his brother, without a cause, shall be in danger of the judgment. And whosoever shall say to his brother Rakah, shall be in danger of the council, but whosoever shall say, Thou fool, shall be in danger of the hellfire, right? And so the Lord, and there's other ones. It has been said in old time this thing, but I say this. It has been said in old time this, but I say this. And he kept doing this with all of these different things, raising the expectation and raising the standard of the law to tell us, look, you ain't gonna be justified by the law because to be perfect, right? Because he says it. Matter of fact, I think that's what's 5 and 48. That's what I was getting confused with Acts a little while ago. Yep. Be ye therefore perfect, even as your Father which is in heaven is perfect. Now, the Lord knows that that's not perfect or that's not possible for us. That's why he had to die, right? Because we couldn't be perfect. So what is he saying, right? There's no way you can be perfected by what the law says. This is why he rose the standard of it. The way you're perfected is by being justified, right? And so that's what's important. So again, back to the original point, the law did not change. The law wasn't changed. What happened was the Lord raised the standard, right? He raised the standard because, well, for one, because there's going to be better promises, right? But let's keep going. So that now allows me um, to go to, since I said it, I'll go here again. This is Hebrews 8 and 7. It says, For if that first covenant had been faultless, then should no place have been sought for the second, for finding fault with them, right? So it wasn't the law that needed to be changed, it was us that needed to be changed. And how could that happen unless we understood the spirit of the law, right? Not the technicality of the law. I'm going to break this law, but I'm going to keep this over. What's the point of the law then? Why have the thing if you're going to just break it the next time, right? We had to be risen. We had to be changed. We had to be improved and bettered, right? And that's what the Lord Yahweh was. He was an example to us of how to live in the flesh underneath the law, statutes, and commandments and be perfect in that way, right? For finding fault with them, he saith, Behold, the days come, saith the Lord, when I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel and with the house of Judah, not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers in the day when I took them by the hand to lead them out of the land of Egypt, because they continue not in my covenant, and I regarded them not, saith the Lord. For this is the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel after those days, saith the Lord. I will put my laws into their mind and write them in their hearts, and I will be to them a power, and they shall be to me a people, right? Because what you had, and why this is important to understand, because people think that, again, that the law has been done away with. And they'll say this, right? They'll say that the new covenant is here, right? And they'll say that the law has been done away with. Also, they can just break the law. You'll see them; they'll have tapers, right? They'll have lineups, right? Um, and a litany of other things, right? But I'm speaking to the things that you can see with your own two eyes, right? And so they're saying these things so that they can continue in breaking the law. They're using, as the scriptures say, liberty as a cloak of maliciousness, right? So this is why this is important to understand these things. The law was never stopped. The law was never deteriorated. The law was never changed, right? It just the standard was risen, right? Let's keep going. Uh, let's go. What else I have? Okay, I read that. I want to read that one last. Let's go here, right? Let's go here. This is Matthew 12 and 1. It says, "At that time, Yahushua went on the Sabbath day through the corn, and his disciples were and hungered and began to pluck the ears of corn and to eat." Salaki, I just want to check something. Yeah. Excuse me. It says, "But when the Pharisees saw it, they said unto him, Behold, thy disciples do that which is not lawful to do upon the Sabbath day. But he saith unto them, Have ye not read what David did when he was an hungered, and they that were with him, how he entered into the house of the Most High, and did eat the showbread, which was not lawful for him to eat, neither for them which were with him, but only for the priests? Or have ye not read in the law how that on the Sabbath days the priests in the temple profane the Sabbath and are blameless? But I say unto you that in this place is one greater than the temple. But if ye had known what this meaneth, I will have mercy and not sacrifice, ye would not have condemned the guiltless," right? And so again, the law wasn't changed, right? The Lord Yahushua was rising the standard, or raising the standard of it, right? The spirit of the law was being expressed when the Lord Yahushua was here. The intent of the law was being expressed when the Lord Yahushua was here, right? Not the technicality of it, but the spirit of it, right? What was the intent? What was the purpose of the law, right? So let's go here. You know what? No, this is where I want to go. And we'll close with this one. Let's see where I got. Yeah, we'll close with this one. It says this. It says, this is Matthew 22 and 35. I'm going to start at 34. Boom. This is Matthew 22 and 34. It says, "But when the Pharisees had heard that he had put the Sadducees to silence, they were gathered together. Then one of them, which was a lawyer, asked him a question, tempting him and saying, Master, which is the great commandment in the law?" Right? Yahushua said unto him, Thou shalt love the Lord thy power with all thy heart, and with all thy soul, and with all thy mind. This is the first and great commandment. And the second is like unto it, Thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. On these two commandments hang all the law and the prophets, right? So the spirit of it, right? The spirit of the law, statutes, and commandments wasn't about how well you can sacrifice, or um, um, how well you can hold somebody else accountable for something wrong that they did. But it was all about the obedience to Yahweh Shem Yahushai, and also to care about the people that you love, or are with, or are around, your brothers, the people of your nation, as you love yourself. That was the intent. And the Lord Yahweh Shai came to show that, not to change it, right? But raise the standard and show the intent of the law, right? So that's it, man. I have one other scripture here that I was gonna read, but I think I want to save that one. So hopefully that was edifying. As always, I want to give all praises to Yahweh Bashem Yahushai Bashem Rachak Wadash. Double honors to the apostles, bishops, and elders, great millstone who rule well, and honor and salutation to those of you who are of the hopeful elect. And with that, I say shalom.